Hello, welcome to another episode of Lost in the Pond. I'm Lawrence Brown, and do you know what? I've had a few things on my mind recently, and not just those thoughts in which I'm trying to outrun a scary clown. Those are the worst. But some other things pertaining, in fact, to life in general, I suppose, and this channel, my profession, and just everything that comes along with being Lawrence Brown. So let's rewind back to about 2015 when I actually launched this channel for the first time. My goal at that point was, well, I didn't really have too many goals except to kind of have fun. I didn't really think many people would view my videos. I didn't think the traffic would get anywhere near what it is today. And my expectations, like I said, were very, very low. Now, over time, the longer I've done this channel and the more it's grown, firstly, that's been obviously very exciting. I mean, it's been a joy to connect with all of you fine folks and see the videos, you know, do the things they're doing. But along with that has come sort of increased expectation and increased responsibility. Not from anybody else, but me. I'm placing all of those things on myself. And, you know, just over the last few months, I've found that harder and harder, I think. Since we got back from England, obviously the goal was and is to continue to put out videos of my time there. And that's all good and well. But I ran into a challenge in the last few months, I think, trying to get all of these out. That's why there was a little bit of a gap between the previous England video and the York video that you saw go out the other day. That York video, it took so long to edit. It was a joy to edit, and I was very happy with the final product, but it did take an enormous amount of time. And so, you know, coupled with the fact that I also have a full-time day job, it didn't really allow me in editing that video to unwind. I didn't have any time to unwind, and it was the same with a lot of the other travel videos that I was doing. Those types of videos, those ones where I overlay it with my own music and there's lots of, you know, footage that was taken from the trip, those videos take far longer than any other type of video. Certainly far more so than this kind of video where I'm simply sitting down in front of the camera and all I have to do is splice that together. And by the way, before I go on and this video gets too serious and heavy, just a reminder that I do have a pink water squirter and I can do that at any time. So that can lighten up the mood if it sounds like I'm seeking some sort of intervention from you. And so during the last week, while I was trying to get that York video out, I found myself barely able to keep my head above water. In fact, I might almost suggest that I drowned and I was pulled out after 30 seconds of being dead and then revived by, I don't know what, an epiphany. An epiphany that I needed to change something about the way I do things. Now, for those of you worried because you love this legendary YouTube channel of mine, not my words, I've read that in the comments before, this is not the end by any means. This channel is absolutely going to continue and at full force, but with modifications. I think modifications that can allow me to make videos that are both, I don't know, enjoyable and entertaining and informative for everybody and very solid and well edited, but that don't leave me having to cope on 6 hours of sleep because I haven't quite finished the editing yet. So all that to say, you know, focusing on those travel videos, I'm not saying right now that I want to cut those out of my schedule. I think I want to modify what I do with those. Last year, I was in Boise and I had a little bit of time, free time on my hands. I wanted to get a video out about Boise. But I knew that I couldn't get together any kind of sort of sprawling travel video with all of my music and all of that. So I thought, well, what can I do? 5 things I love about Boise. So I just sat down in front of the camera. I had some footage I could just overlay on top of it really quick. And it was a meaningful video. I got to actually just say stuff about my time in Boise and also show you a few things. So I think that with the DC trip coming up and Maryland and all of that and any other trip that we do in the future, at least while my schedule is this tightly packed, I think that the travel videos will in future sort of follow that sort of format. It could be a listicle, or it could be I'm sitting down in front of the camera and giving you my opinion on this place and then just overlaying it with footage and things like that. I really do enjoy making those sort of higher production videos, but it just has to, I think, be put on hold for now. That's an expectation I just want to set because I know there's a number of you out there that really appreciate those videos and you said, you know, things like you really like the music that I write, and I appreciate that because that's my first love in many ways is composing music. That style of filmmaking is going to be put on hold for now so that I don't find myself drowning again at this point. I'm drowning in my own spray bottle. I don't know why I'm doing this. I suppose that, when I watch those serious videos like the one I did a few weeks ago about the Navy Pier incident, I always wish that those kinds of videos would be injected with more comedy, so I found a comedy prop to help with that. There's a few other things, though, that I've been thinking about. I took a look, that is, at my backlog of videos, and there were certain things that didn't satisfy me. Some of those things were things like audio. I was too far away from the mic. I was over here, so the volume wasn't quite as good. And I think somewhere down the line, I lost sight of that. I don't know why. The setup just sort of changed. We moved around a little bit, and I was happy to have the microphone there so that I could do things a little further away from it. No, I think that it's important to me to be on top of that, and on top of the technology and make the best out of it that I possibly can. Another thing that's been happening, about 3 months ago, we reached about 49,000 subscribers. And before then, the trend had been that our subscriber count had just continued to go up and up and up and up, right? I'd never really since day one seen any other outcome than that, except in the last 3 months. It's just sort of stayed at 49,000. We'll have a drop off of subscribers and then a new amount of subscribers coming in, and we're not really making any gains. And one reason for that is that one of our sort of high performing videos just sort of stopped performing in YouTube's algorithm, and so we weren't getting those subscribers in. So I want to think quite strategically about how I can tackle that on this channel. And so for the first time in what feels like a long time, I actually had some time to sit down this week with my analytics in YouTube and try to determine those videos that in the past had been not only popular in terms of watch time and all that, but in terms of how many subscribers they were pulling in per view, right? And honestly, it really is those types of videos where I am in front of the camera and I am, giving you information and things like that I've researched, or it's around words, or it's around why America does this kind of thing, and it's sort of titled with a question, why don't more Americans have passports? Let's take that as an example. I did that very video, and the idea behind that video is obviously not to antagonize Americans at all. It's actually to respond to a stereotype about Americans that I often heard when I lived in England, and to actually answer that. It's so easy, I think, back home just to make the assumption that, oh, well, Americans just don't care about the rest of the world. That's why they don't all have passports. But as I found out in making that video, there's a plethora of reasons as to why that's the case. And those kinds of videos really excite me. And it's kind of what my channel, or I should say my blog, back in 2013 was really all about. I started that blog because I wanted to try to dispel myths about some of these American stereotypes, or at least give a sort of more full picture of why things are the way they are. Things are not usually as black and white as they seem. And so those videos, according to analytics, were pulling in quite a lot of subscribers. People found that quite interesting. So I definitely want to return to that. I sort of, over the summer months, because of the England trip and all of that kind of stuff, I just sort of lost track of it, but I was really enjoying that work. So I definitely sort of want to turn the focus back toward doing that kind of thing, and also to reintroduce some of the words videos I do through distant words. Absolutely love that kind of stuff too. And once again, it just feels like the England trip, as great as it was and as fun as it's going to be to continue getting those videos out over time, maybe once a month or something like that, that sort of took over my life for 3 months. And I definitely want to get back to those other kinds of videos. But I spoke a moment ago about those videos in which I analyze certain stereotypes or questions about the United States and then try to find all of the key details as to why something is the case. I want to do that in reverse too. There's a lot of questions Americans ask me about England that I'd love to, fulfill with actual answers and actual research, and give you a good video on why these things are the case. All that to say, there is a concerted effort here in the Lost in the Pond mansion, that's this apartment, to overhaul the way in which we do things, both from a content point of view and a production point of view, just to make things more simple on both fronts. And lastly, aesthetics. That was in my ear. I want to change my appearance. I've been looking back at videos and I've done a lot of them in my pajamas. And while that's comical and humorous, I want to be able to look back on these videos in 50 years' time when I'm 87 and, sort of look at it and be happy with what I'm looking at. I don't want to look back on Lawrence in his underpants and an unironed t-shirt and a baseball cap indoors and a pair of glasses that's just as broken as him. I want to look back on a Lawrence that I was proud of. Not on a Lawrence that was unkempt, but on a Lawrence that was kempt. And a Lawrence that you didn't want to spray with a pink water bottle. It's time for a change, and that change starts now. This feels much better. Now I just need to come up with an intro for my show. How about, hey, Vsauce, Michael here. No, that's definitely already taken. Oh, hi, we're Joel and Leah. No, again, that's done, isn't it? Oh, hey, guys. That sounds like every single YouTuber under the age of 30, so that won't work. Oh, how about this? Hi. I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, working in the title of my channel. Thank you for watching, and be sure to check out my next video in which I ask the question, why does America offer free refills? Thank you for watching this episode of Lost in the Pond. Don't forget to hit my stupid little face to subscribe, and please share this video with the world. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and if you would like to support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/lostinthepond.